You're listening to New Talk on WNSR, New School Radio.
Even though Cheryl Francis is married to Lieutenant Governor Gregory Francis of the United States Virgin Islands, she is distinguished in her own right. She has developed Stop the Bleeding Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to fostering accountability in the United States Virgin Islands community regarding the abhorrent mistreatment, violence, abuse, and hurt for children and families through effective communication, interagency collaboration, and responsible action. I had a wonderful conversation with Ms. Cheryl Francis about the work she's doing in the United States Virgin Islands regarding helping kids and what she's doing to make sure that they have a better understanding of where they come from and how they can become productive citizens in society. I would like to welcome Cheryl Francis to WNSR New School Radio. Ms. Francis, thank you so much for taking the time out to be with me on WNSR.
Thank you for having me, Roy, and good afternoon.
Yes, I would like to first start out with your background and the conditions that you grew up with as a child, because it, I think, directly links to what you're doing with Stop the Bleeding.
Absolutely, it does. As a matter of fact, I'm the product of a single parent. My mom raised three of us on her own, and so I understand very, very well the struggle of growing up in a home without a father. I understand very well what it is to be poor and to be lacking in those needs of just having the support all around. It didn't actually stop me from my growth because my mom was one of those moms that was determined that I would go a lot further than she would go. And so in doing that, she actually picked us up when I was like 11 years old and moved away from the Virgin Islands, which gave me an opportunity to, we moved to New York, and it actually gave me an opportunity to see the world on the other side and understand what is so available to each of us as young people. So I feel that was really, that move was a crucial point in my life that made a big difference in getting me to see what I need to do moving forward.
Yeah, and how did you connect to politics out in the Virgin Islands? Why get involved at all in public service?
Well, I was never actually in politics. When, after my husband and I got married and we were raising our children, during that time I actually worked for the telephone company in the Virgin Islands. And once I got to a point where my concern was my daughters and making sure they had the opportunities that I didn't have. Like I wanted to go to college, but my mom was insistent that I take a different route for some reason. And so, once we got to that point where, my kids were grown, my oldest daughter wanted to go away to Atlanta and go to school, and my youngest wanted to do the same when she was in 10th grade. And so it wasn't really about politics. It was more about work and home and work. I did work with the telephone company for almost 30 years. My background is customer service and management, so I directed the business offices. I left the company as the director of all the businesses across the three islands here, St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John. My husband now, he was in the military and a strong veteran, and so he chose to get into being the Director of Veterans Affairs here in the Virgin Islands. And through that relationship, he got into politics and then thereby brought me into it with him just by virtue of being the wife of the Lieutenant Governor. I decided, well, I have to do my part and continue the role of doing what I do best, and that's taking care of our own. So it moved from me focusing on taking care of my children and family into taking care of families across the Virgin Islands and, of course, the young people of the Virgin Islands. So that was the draw for me to get into community service, especially when I saw there was some violence among the children. Specifically in 2007, a young girl, 12 years old, was found dead, and she was missing for about 2-3 days before that. And, of course, to me, if you're a family, how can your child be missing in a small community like this? You must know where they are all the time and, make sure they're at home at a certain time. So those are the kind of things that ran through my mind. So I started doing my own investigation, and I just took up the gauntlet and says, well, if it is to be, maybe it's up to me to make a difference to help our young people in the Virgin Islands to have a voice and to have some understanding. So this is kind of where I started and how I got to this point.
Yes, and all of that community work has evolved into a nonprofit organization called Stop the Bleeding, which is dedicated to bettering the youth in the Virgin Islands. Talk about how you got that started and the framework for putting it all together.
Sure. The first thing we did was we started meeting with these different leaders in the community, leaders from, for example, public safety, from human services, Department of Education, Housing, Parks, and Recreation. We touched on all those areas where young people were involved. And I asked the leaders of those organizations to explain to me what's the common denominator, why our children are in this desperate state. And what was said to me was that parent involvement was lacking. So there's where I took the lead in going forward. So I looked at, from the education point of view, I looked at the children that were lost, the ones that were dropping out of schools, the ones that were involved in crimes and that sort of thing. And then once I got that information, I decided that maybe the best way to address it is through the seventh graders, because that was where the highest amount of dropouts were. And what we actually felt was once a child passes from the elementary side, where you'll have one teacher guiding them all through school, and they moved into the junior high school level, they kind of got lost in the who and the what and the why and the when of their lives as to how they can take care of themselves. And so that transition I realized was important. So we actually just started doing youth summits. I brought in different artists and motivational speakers to come in and speak to the young people, talk to them about conflict resolution, teaching them about being, good students in school, getting along with your teachers and your families at home. And we had a wide variety of people that were willing to step up and help in this endeavor. And so from the youth summits, we actually decided, well, we'll do media, because we realized we can't reach everybody through the youth summits, because we wanted the parents also to be involved in this thing that in this message that we wanted to get across to our young people. So we actually started with a commercial where families that lost their loved ones stepped up. And we did a PSA where they got an opportunity to show pictures of their young person that was killed through violence. And we put out a plea to the community to stop the bleeding and start the healing of families across the Virgin Islands. That was our very first introduction into the media, and that was so powerful in itself. The response we got was really immense, and we were so grateful for it because we knew we were on the right track.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Now, your song, you have this new single called Believe, and at the conclusion of this interview, I'm going to play it and attach it to this interview because I really want people to listen to the words. The words are moving and powerful. Talk about the song and the kind of reception that you've been getting from it.
We've been getting such a wonderful response from the Believe song. We hear different songs talking about believing and, having this self-esteem that helps you to grow. What we try to do, and we're still working towards doing, is making sure our young people understand that in order for you to achieve, you first have to see yourself doing and wanting what you want to do and where you want to go and who you want to be as an adult. So in my speaking engagements to different young people and their parents, I would say to them, picture themselves. Look in the mirror, picture themselves wearing the uniform, wearing for example, if you're a doctor, the mask, doing those things that you want to do as an adult. And once you can see yourself doing it, then we know you can achieve it. So the song itself, how we figured it would link with our young people is we reached out to those artists that they love so much. Those artists that, like, for example, Pressure Busspipe, he's very strong here. They're all Virgin Islanders, all lived in the Virgin Islands before. We have First Simmons. We have Elijah Vegas. He's a 12-year-old, just turned 13. We have Ronaldo Canton. He's also a 19-year-old, just graduated high school and went on to college. And we also had Mother Niles, who is a strong mother of wisdom here in the Virgin Islands to our young people. So we brought the team together and asked them to help us with their voice and their messages to reach out to these young people. We took them to the schools. We had them perform in the schools, talk to the children in the schools. We reached out to the homeless community. We did a food drive on both islands, St. Croix and St. Thomas, to reach out to the homeless and make sure that they knew that we cared. This was not just about the foundation, Stop the Bleeding. It wasn't about the artists performing. It was about us coming together, and they're coming back home to give back to our young people and encourage our young people. So that Believe song, of course, has been powerful. We have already garnered over 1,000 fans across the world, which was so amazing to me in the space of time that we've released the song September 2nd, and today is October 15th, and we've already connected across the world. I love that. We've had people reaching out to us from the Caribbean wanting to join us, learn from us, share with us, spread the song out there, and the song itself has really touched our people here in the Virgin Islands. They're grateful that I'm continuing in this work. They're grateful that we're now using something of upliftment, messages of peace, messages of being strong, so that we're not talking about the negative, we're not talking about guns, we're just talking about the things that you personally can do as a person, whether you're a young adult, you're a child, or you're an older adult, you can do to help yourself to move forward. So it's been very, very exciting. We even have a venture coming up very shortly where we're going to be showcased in Atlanta. There's a Virgin Islands reunion that's going to be happening in Atlanta in November 17th. And we're coming together again, selling our CDs, and also reaching out to our Virgin Islands folks across the U.S. to give back to the Virgin Islands, as well as taking care of their own children wherever they live, whether it's from New York all the way to Florida. We're just pushing that card to keep the message of peace strong across the world, and hopefully we do make a positive difference, which I think we will be. I do believe we will make a positive difference.
Yeah, I do believe as well, and one of the reasons why I was so fascinated by what you were doing, because even though this is in the Virgin Islands, this is really something that can be duplicated anywhere, all across the world.
Absolutely.
And I love the slogan for your Laity project, love is all there is. And when you instill that, and from community to community, this can really start an uprising about positivity and the hope and the progress that communities ultimately have if everyone just sticks together and looks out for each other. And so I was just thrilled by this message and what you were doing. And I'm sure that when you've been traveling, you've been meeting people who have shared stories with you. I wondered if I can trigger your memory to any particular story from someone, whether they be young or old, who came to you and felt touched by what you were doing and shared their experiences with you that you can share now?
Oh, absolutely. I have a young lady who lost her son to violence that called me and said, Ms. Francis, I don't know how to deal with this, but just knowing that there's someone out there working towards keeping the peace and reaching out to these other children out there that don't seem to connect with just being able to talk to each other and communicate to each other. She lets me know that her son was bullied in school. She lets me know that he was scared. He didn't know. He was more trying to avoid going to school. He just didn't know where to turn. The bullying, the harassment was taking its toll on him and her, and it just got to a point where the bully kind of caught up with him. So she, of course, wants to join us in our movement. She is very, very positive and encouraging in the things that she feels needs to be done based on her experience as a mom, and she feels it's also starting at home, which, of course, for all of us, what our parents do with us, how they prepare us, how they love us, how they treat us, is what will determine where we follow in our lives, except that we must remember when our young people are out there and they're alone and they feel that the parent isn't close by, we have to let them understand how to cope, how not to follow, but how to actually believe in their strength and what they're about. So sometimes our communities do fail because we're not helping. It does take a village. It does take not only the home, the schools, families, extended families, friends, to keep an eye out and work together in the name of keeping our children safe and healthy.
Okay, that wraps it up for me. I think that we got a good piece for what you guys are doing, and unless you have anything else you want to add?
Okay, I do want to let everyone know that here's this, that we've done an award-winning video called You Got the Power, in which we reached out to, we had young people in the 7th graders, they're all 7th graders, never acted before. We had them reach out and communicate to their parents about bullying, about going to parent-teachers meetings. I'm hoping that that experience of seeing that video can make a difference, and they can see it on our website at stopthebleedingusvi.org. They can see us on our Facebook page and like us at Stop the Bleeding Foundation. As well, they can email us at stopthebleedingusvi@gmail.com. We're all ready to help and serve in any way we can to help save a life. So I do appreciate you, Mr. Paul, for taking the time out of your schedule to do this for us. We just adore the fact that we have an opportunity to spread the message. So I thank you very, very much.
Not a problem. It was my pleasure. And keep doing the great work there. Everyone should be doing that in every community. I
agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. This is Roy Paul with WNSR New School Radio.
Give the children a path to follow. When you read between the lines, you will realize if you dream, you can achieve. Stand firm and just believe.
If I could change the world, there will be no more fight. And every individual get equal rights. Me free up all the innocent, we sentence for life, and give the underprivileged a chance to shine them light. The gun them where you fire, me will seize them now. The homeless and the needy, me will feed them now. And get rid of the envy and the greed them now. Cause we have to make this world a better place somehow.
Hands down, you the best ever created. Keep your faith alive, don't let it be annihilated by the lies. They're hating, they trying to bring you down. Just let them know your royalty and always rock your crown. Let's keep it right from the front to the back, we roll. Eyes on the prize, focus, keep hope. Watch what them do, but don't listen to what they're saying, no. Keep pushing for the best, something's gotta give. Like Nelson said, positive is how you gotta live.
hard nowadays for my age group. I'm trying to chase tomorrow, something I'm supposed to do. Kids going wild, open your eyes to a brighter future so you can realize that we are one and we stand tall. This is our nation and we participating. Capture this moment, this is legendary. Now take a picture if you would, cause it is necessary.
Feels like the whole world's on my shoulder. I've been there before. And it's hard out here sometimes, but you're stronger than you know. I'm on the road and I'm falling down, but I'm a soldier just the same. I gotta do what I gotta do, just to maintain.
Just to maintain, just to maintain. If I could change tomorrow, the world would know no sorrow. I'll aim straight for my goal like an arrow. Give the children a path to follow. When you read between the lines, you will realize if you dream you can achieve. Stay firm and just believe. Stand firm and just believe. Stand firm and just believe.
It's a struggle, it's a struggle, it's a real life struggle. Wanna live, you gotta hustle, tryna see your money bubble up. You gotta keep your head up, head up, head up, head up high. It's a struggle, it's a struggle, it's a real life struggle. Wanna live, you gotta hustle, tryna see your money bubble up. You gotta keep your head up, head up, head up, head up high.
If I could change tomorrow, the world would know no sorrow. I'll aim straight for my goal like an arrow. Give the children a path to follow. When you read between the lines, you will realize if you dream you can achieve. Stand firm and just believe. Stand firm and just believe.
Dream big, never small. Even when you're back against the wall. Dream big, never small. Stand up, you have to stand tall. Dream big, never small. No ain't no time figure start.